Let us know in the comments below. So, speaking of returns, they are not the only entity that is back in AEW. There's two, and we're going to be talking about them in the next upcoming segments. Number one is their best friends, FTR. Dax Harwood has confirmed that they are not only have they re-signed with AEW, but they have signed 4-year deals. And at the end of those 4-year deals, they will retire. And he actually had a comment on, I believe, a recent podcast, and he says this pertaining to working to Vince McMahon. I felt that working for Vince, I was just a number. Vince has taught his minions underneath him into thinking everyone is replaceable and everyone is just an object, and he places these objects where he wants to. We're not. Maybe in wrestling we are objects, but wrestling should be just a percentage, a small percentage of what your life is. For better or worse, that's how Vince runs his business. I was just a number, just an object to Vince. To Tony, I am a human being. He cares about me, my feelings, my family. Working for someone like that obviously is going to make our decision much easier when comparing and contrasting to a person who just has us as a number. Interesting comments. How do you feel about FTR re-signing these 4-year deals? How do you feel about these comments about Vince McMahon?
Honestly, like what he described in general, I think is how anyone feels, in real life, with your job, with my job, with anyone's job. You want to feel like regardless where you go, you are appreciated, because not for nothing, your job is at least 1/3 of your life, depending on how much you work, maybe more, maybe less. And you identify with that. It's kind of like your other home away from home. And who wants to be in a home that's not happy, that's dysfunctional, right. And I feel like no matter how old we get, we want to be told that we're doing well. We want to feel appreciated. We want to feel like what we're putting in, we're getting something back out of. Don't nobody want to sit there and work their behind off and just be snubbed and be like at the bottom of the food chain, and you just feel like, as he described, a number. You know what I mean? No one wants to feel like they're replaceable. Not when it comes to your family, not when it comes to your friends, sure as hell not your job. So I feel him when he said all of that. Because one thing about me is that if I don't feel like I'm appreciated where I'm at, I will pack it up and go. That goes for anything and anyone. So that being said, I feel him and I understand the resigning. And we can see it as fans through the screen, who is being appreciated, who's not being appreciated, who's going out there on the show, and it's like, the lights are on but no one's home type of deal, and they're just going through the motions because they just want to pay their bills, but they're not happy here. We see that with the fans, with the wrestlers as fans. So honestly, I feel him. I agree with his decision. I'm happy that he is happy where he's at, and I feel like, as a fan myself, that's all I care about when it comes to like me and my favorites. Like a lot of people, you can use Sasha for that example. A lot of people are saying, well, the most relevant she was when she was back in WWE. She doesn't get the engagement on social media that she used to get when she's back in WWE. But it's like, okay, but is Mercedes happy? She posted her boss. She just posted her boss yesterday. Right. All happy, saying this is my boss. You know what I mean? Like you could tell she's happy where she's at. Sometimes it's not about how much you're making. It's about like, how do you feel? What are you getting back for what you're putting in? So good for him. Good for the re-signing. Anything else you want to add?
So I definitely want to piggyback off of your point, because I think it's valid, and I think that wrestling fans need to hear this, because I think that not just in the world of wrestling, but in the world of sports and entertainment, I think that it's very, very easy to kind of dehumanize a lot of performers into thinking that they don't have the same needs and wants and desires as people who may work a regular 9-to-5, in the sense that work environment matters, work culture matters, and you want to be in an environment and in relationships that make you feel affirmed and appreciated and wanted and special. And it's not different for any professional wrestler. Pro wrestlers want to go where they can be themselves, where they want to be appreciated, where they don't feel like they're just a part of a machine. And I feel like you can see that in these comments. And I also believe that the work culture directly affects the product that you see on screen. You can make the argument that AEW has a great product on screen. And a big reason for that is because of the culture that Tony Khan has created backstage. Because Tony Khan makes people feel special, makes people feel wanted, makes people feel invited and warm, you're going to bring out things in people that they probably didn't have at their old job or their old place of business because they feel better here than they did elsewhere. And like you said, you know what I'm saying? Like, Mercedes is happy. Mercedes is showing off her boss. And it's like when you look at the landscape of pro wrestling and you look at how guys are just extremely passionate, it's not just because of, they love wrestling. It's because they're finally in a place where they feel like they can be themselves, where they feel happy, where they feel welcome and wanted, and they feel comfortable. And I feel like we're seeing that Dax values that environment and that culture here at AEW. As far as them signing their new deals, I think it's very, very smart. I think that them kind of going on this little run that they've been going on over the past year and a half has showed FTR that Tony Khan is willing to give them the creative control, the flexibility to literally put together the run of a lifetime. They were the IWGP Tag Team Champions. They were the AAA Tag Team Champions. They were the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions. They were the last match for the Briscoes, which is probably a set of opportunities that wouldn't have been available to them if they were to just be in WWE. And now they hold the AEW World Tag Team Champions, and the sky's the limit. They can still work with people in Impact. They can still work with people in AEW. They can still work with people in Ring of Honor and AAA. So I think that also factored into their decision. But, I can definitely see why FTR signed those new 4-year deals. And I think that it's great that they are in a position where they're in an environment where they feel welcome and that they feel good. I think that that's the most important thing for them. So, but yeah, that's my little thing on FTR. Let us know how you feel about them being back or re-signing to